this is Rachel with Flow on Yoga, and today is part 3 of our 3-part series on exploring range of motion. As you can see, no chairs today. If you want to use one and follow along with some of these moves using the chair assists that I taught you in practice 1 or 2 of this series, please feel free to grab your chair and bring it along. If not, go ahead and get your mat, and we're going to stand right in the center and let's get started. So we're going to start with our feet a little bit more than hip distance apart, just slightly. Then we're going to kind of come into that slightly wider than normal leg mountain pose. And we're just going to take a minute to kind of center and feel that our weight is balanced all across our feet, that our weight is evenly distributed between the front and the back and the inside and outside of both of your feet. And feel free to adjust. Maybe this little wide leg doesn't feel good for you and you want to come back to just hip distance apart, which right here, hip point straight down, about a fist or so generally between your feet, or we can stay right here. And then if you feel comfortable, if you feel balanced, feel free to put a hand on a chair or a wall here if you need it. I invite you to close your eyes and begin to focus inward on your breath. And if you're not comfortable with closing your eyes, just go ahead and soften your gaze a little bit. You're trying to look down at your cheeks. And start taking those inhales and exhales through the nose. Perhaps on the first couple inhales and exhales, getting slightly deeper on each inhale and more fully exhaling with each exhalation. Feeling the expansion of not just your chest and your belly, but your ribs and the side of your body and even into your back, that full expansion, 360 like a balloon, all the way around your torso and your chest on those inhales. And then exhale. Everything releases. Keeping those shoulders relaxed. And if it's in your practice and you feel comfortable with it, maybe moving into that ocean breath if you haven't already, that audible inhale and exhale. After your next exhale, go ahead and bring your hands to heart center, palms together, feeling just a slight upward movement, reaching up of the chest towards the hands. Shoulders are relaxed, shoulder blades moving down the back. And if you have your own intention for today's practice, go ahead and bring your attention to that now. Maybe say it out loud if you're comfortable with that. If you do not have your own, I offer you the intention of uniqueness today, that this practice, just like every practice that you will do, either with me or with another teacher or on your own, will be unique. And that is okay, that is awesome. That being in tune with your body and knowing what yoga your body needs or wants, or maybe even more importantly, doesn't need or want from practice to practice and day to day, is an important part of what yoga is knowing what will serve your body and what won't. And being okay with your practice not looking the same as the person next to you or your instructor that's guiding you, or not even being the same as what you were able to do yesterday or what you are able to do tomorrow. Just as we all are unique human beings, our yoga will be 100% unique to you in that practice on that day. So let's go ahead and take one more deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to drop the hands and open the eyes. And on our next inhale, we're going to bring the hands up. Maybe the gaze follows if that feels okay in your neck. And we're going to take our left hand to our right wrist. We're gonna really reach up first, and then on your next exhale, we're just gonna tip to the left. Just a nice little side body stretch. And even as we tip over to the side, make sure that we still have that long, engaged reaching through our arm, because that reach is just as important as tilting over to the side to get that nice stretch all the way from your arm all the way down to the hip on the right side of your body. And if it feels okay for you, you can release the left hand. That left hand isn't necessary, but it's kind of nice. Just give you a little reminder to reach as well as hinge to the left. Then on your next inhale, we're going to come back up to the center, release the hands, switch right hand to left wrist, and on an exhale, tip to the right, really reaching through that left hand. And checking in here as we're getting that nice stretch through our left side body. Things are getting narrowed here, and that even though we're narrowing through the side of our body, we are not narrowing our breathing. That our breathing stays nice and steady and deep on the inhales and the exhales. On your next inhale, reach it up, release the right hand. Maybe the gaze follows up, maybe it doesn't. Exhale, hands to heart center, down through and release. And now we're going to do a little bit of that exploring range of motion through our shoulders, where instead of arms up to the left to the right, we're going to inhale from the side with the arm down. We're going to inhale up, over, exhale it down and around. So inhale up, exhale over, down and around. And you can come straight up, or maybe you want to get more of like a full circle in front of you. You want to inhale up, out to the side, and exhale, tipping to the left and bringing it around. Feeling that full range of motion through the shoulder, through that ball and socket joint up there that lets us rotate our shoulder in that nice big circle. Inhaling up and exhaling over and down, and feeling free. Maybe the gaze follows as that hand moves, the arm, or maybe not if that doesn't feel okay in your neck. Whatever feels good to you. And then maybe if you want, coming even a little wider and getting the feet in on this a little bit too, and getting a little bit of a twist through the side body as we come. So we're inhaling up, and then just a little twist as we go over. Maybe the foot even turns inward a little bit too. Totally optional. Remember, inhale up, exhale down and around. One more time wherever you are. Inhale up, exhale down and around. If you step those feet out a little wider, bring them back in to where they were before. And we're going to start doing that same thing with the left arm. So inhale, you can go straight up. Exhale, over, down, and around. Or you can feel free to do that full circle where we exhale the left arm away from the left. So left arm out towards the left side of the body. And then exhale over and around. So inhale out, away towards the left. All the way up, exhale, tip, left arm comes across the right side of the body, down and around. And then the gaze may follow, it may not. Your option, totally your choice here. And then maybe we step the feet a little bit wider and get the hips and the side body with a little twist involved in this motion. So if we're doing what I'm doing right now, we have our neck doing a rotation, our shoulder and our arm doing this rotation, our hip is doing an inward rotation as we come down and around, and then our foot is coming in too. So we're kind of got the full left side of the body is in motion on this one. And of course the breath is engaged and following along too as we inhale up and exhale down and around. We're going to do one more. Inhale up, exhale down and around, and let it go. If you're not in that wide-legged stance, go ahead and come into it. And you may want to come even wider than you are now. Step it out a little bit. So really getting the legs wider than the body. I just had to do a little cut there because the top of my blinds fell off. So it scared me. Legs nice and wide, toes pointing in just a little bit, really pressing down through the outer edges of your feet, and then finding that evenly balanced where your weight is centered or even between each foot. And then you can either bring your hands here to your waist, or you can interlace them behind your back, knuckles grounding down, and then take a nice deep inhale here, and then on an exhale with a nice flat back, either hands on hips or behind our back, we're gonna begin to come forward with a flat back. If our fingers are interlaced, we lift them up as we go, or just right here. We wanna keep nice long neck, this lovely straight line and extension from the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. So tailbone reaching back, crown of the head reaching forward, straight neck. So either here, with our hands on our waist, or fingers interlaced and coming up, making sure to keep some distance between the shoulders and the ears if we are doing this, fingers interlaced, getting that stretch through our shoulders and a little bit through our chest here. And this is something very similar to what we did in our last practice, so if this is something you want to use a chair for, you are more than welcome. Now, wherever your hands are, with control, especially if your fingers are interlaced, very slowly with control, we're going to release them down towards the ground. You may need to come down a little more. You may need a block or a blanket or a pillow or a chair to bring the earth up to you. But first, we're going to either our left fingers or hand, keeping that nice straight back. We're going to center it, press it down into the earth or the chair or the block. And we're going to bring our right hand up our left arm across our chest. Move my braid out of the way so it doesn't get in my mouth. And then open that right arm up towards the sky. Find a lot of distance here between your shoulders. So a nice open chest. Trying as much as possible to stack the shoulders. And really pressing up out of this left hand. So we don't want to be falling down towards the earth. We want to actively pressing into our fingertips, into the heel of our palm, into that space between your pointer finger and your thumb, up and out of that left hand. And then on your next exhale, we're going to bring the right arm down. Put it right where that left arm is now and do the same thing on the other side. Bring the left arm from the wrist, up the right arm, across the chest, the left shoulder, and reach it up towards the sky. Really pressing up and away from the ground with that right hand. Finding a lot of space in our chest. The gaze can look up towards the left thumb if that feels okay in your neck. If it doesn't, you can look neutral or even down at the ground. And feel free to play around and see what feels best for you with your neck. And then on your next exhale, we're going to release the left hand down next to the right. And maybe move your feet out even a little wider here, if that feels okay. And we're going to, on our next exhale, relax our head towards the ground, maybe keeping your hands right where they are. Maybe they're on a block or that chair, or maybe walking them back where they're more in line with the arch. That's the word. I was saying sole, but that wasn't right. With the arch of your foot, if that feels comfortable for you. And really relaxing the head down, making sure to keep a soft bend in your knees. Don't lock your knees. And maybe in this pose, as you relax down into this pose, maybe someday, maybe today, your head comes all the way down to the ground. Mine does not, and that's okay. Or maybe you find you can walk your hands back behind the feet too. Just experimenting here. A lot of different places to be. No one is better or more correct than the other. And so wherever you are, just going to slowly walk the hands back out in front of the feet. My kids like doing Cosmic Kids Yoga, and Jamie's from Australia says you just ticka them up, and I think about that a lot as I'm practicing because that just seems very appropriate. So now, wherever you are, come up into our fingers and then just very slowly bring your hands back to your waist, and with that nice flat back, we're going to rise up, take our right toes, turn them towards the front of the mat, and then we're going to take a nice big step, or maybe just a few little steps. We're going to bring that left foot up to the right at the front of our mat. So nice big step or a couple little baby steps or a jump. We're gonna set up in that mountain pose, so feet about hip distance apart, right underneath the hip points here. Hands down at your side, and on an inhale, our hands are gonna come up, maybe the gaze follows, and exhale, either hands through heart center or swan dive, all the way down to a forward fold. Nice generous bend in your knees, letting the head go. Take a couple breaths here to just relax and let the upper body go, feeling the chest coming towards the shins, the belly towards the thighs, and your head just relaxing down, top of your head towards the ground. And the arms just releasing. On your next inhale, halfway lift, whether that's with your fingers or hands on the ground, or the shins, or the thighs, or maybe here on the hips. Finding that nice long straight line between your tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head. Lots of extension. Exhale, soften and fold. Inhale, tuck the chin to the chest, and very, very slowly, the nice generous bend in your knees, we're going to come all the way up to standing. Chin off the chest is the last thing we do. Hands down by the sides in mountain pose. Then we're going to inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot and then the left foot back to our very first down dog. And feel free to take a minute here to adjust and find your down dog for today. The fingertips nice and wide. The pointer finger is pointing forward, really pressing in through our fingertips, through our knuckles, through the palm of our hand. And when we really press in and engage through those arms, it helps take a lot of pressure off of our wrists. And then our feet, our heels are grounding towards the earth. It is okay if they don't make it there. And our hips are lifting up towards the sky. And then our arms, our upper arms are kind of doing this external rotation. And our ears are right in between our biceps. And chest just opening and releasing towards the ground. Once you find your down dog, take a moment to pause in stillness. And take one deep inhale and one exhale. Next inhale, we're going to look up at our hands, and however you want, either baby steps or a hop or one big step, we're going to bring our feet right up between our hands, exhaling into forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, fold. Inhale with control, chin to chest, lifting all the way up, the arms come up, maybe the gaze comes up. And exhaling, swan diving it right back down to that forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. This time we're going to step the left foot back and then the right. Back into that downward dog. And after we took a minute to adjust and set up that first time, it should feel a little easier to get into that place that feels good in your downward dog the second time. So this time what we're going to do, after we take one deep inhale and exhale here, on our next inhale, we're going to come forward, shoulders over the arms, heels pressing back, really engaging those abs and lifting up into a plank. And then on the next exhale, hips back up, heels grounding back down into a down dog. We're just going to do that little motion on an inhale to a plank, exhale to a down dog, and feel free to drop your knees at any time. And so we come forward into a plank on our knees, and then either exhaling back into a down dog or even exhaling back here into child's pose or puppy pose. Totally your choice. And feel free to switch back and forth between the two. Be sure to keep those abs engaged, hugging the low ribs in, belly button towards the spine and lifting. Finding space is the back of like behind your chest and behind your belly. You're really lifting up towards the sky. We're not collapsing through the midsection as we move from this plank to down dog. And wherever you are, the next time you're in down dog, we're going to pause On your exhale, lower your knees if they're not already lowered. And you can either keep your knees together if it feels better, toes together, knees as wide as your mat. And on an exhale, we're gonna sit it back into a child's pose. I'm resting here for just a minute. Just did quite a bit of work in our arms, so we'd give them a little rest before we come back up and do a little more work through our arms. So here in this child's pose, your hands can be forward. Maybe fold them and make a little pillow for your forehead, or, and this is my personal favorite most of the time, maybe releasing your hands down along your legs with your fingers about the same place as the bottoms of your feet. I think this one feels really nice through the shoulders and really gives the arms a nice break. Check in with your breathing here. And check in with your heartbeat. And see where it is now compared to where it was when we started this practice. And wherever your arms are, we're going to bring them back out in front of us. Really pressing our fingertips in, find some engagement through our arms. And then on the next inhale, we're going to come up into tabletop, tuck the toes, and then on your next exhale, back up into downward facing dog. And on an inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up into a three-legged dog. Exhale, plank with the right knee to the right elbow. Inhale, back up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhale it back up. Exhale, knee to nose. Exhale, inhale, three-legged dog, sorry. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale up. And then exhale, right knee to left elbow. You can either stay here or we can stretch that leg out. Lift the left arm up towards the sky into a rock star. Really pressing up and away through that right hand. And then exhale, bring the left hand back down. Inhale, three-legged dog. And then from here, feel free to drop that leg into the down dog and right back into a child's pose. Or if you want a little extra challenge today, we're gonna keep, sorry, my hair is all in my face today. I'm on the pandemic, no haircut for over a year, and I'm in desperate need of one. So if you're keeping in that three-legged dog, from here, what you can do, really ground that left heel down and start walking your hands back toward your feet, keeping that right leg lifted, coming into your version of a half split on the back of your mat. So chest towards the shin, head towards the ground, belly towards the thigh, lifting that right leg up as high as you can. Mine doesn't go that high, and that's okay. We're just doing our very best here. Or maybe we're hanging out in child's pose or down dog. So if you're in that half split, we're going to begin to walk our hands back forward into that three-legged dog. And then on an exhale, wherever you are, meet us back here in this down dog. If you're in child pose, make your way back up to this down dog. You're going to inhale, optional, three-legged dog with the right leg, and then exhale, right leg to the outside, the right hand. If it doesn't make it there the first time, feel free to adjust a little bit. So your right foot is on the outside of your right hand, right here. And on an inhale, we're going to bring the left arm up into a twist. Make sure we're keeping that right knee hugged in towards the midline. It's really easy for the right knee to want to kind of splay out towards the side. So make sure you keep that knee right over that ankle. Your gaze can follow the left hand up or neutral or down. Keep that breathing nice and deep and steady in this twist. Then exhale, bring the left hand down. And then from here, we're going to move into the lizard, and we have a lot of options for what you can do here. You can stay right here like I am. You can drop your back knee and untuck your toes. Or you can start coming down. Whether your knee is lifted or not, you can start coming down onto your forearms and maybe relaxing your head towards the ground. And you also always have the option of letting that right knee fall out towards the right a little bit. And then wherever you are, I want you to kind of imagine that your right hip is kind of nestling back while your left hip is releasing forwards. Get you a nice stretch through your left hip flexor. Wherever you are, just find some stillness for a couple breaths. And on your next exhale, wherever you are, we're going to slowly walk out of this pose. If your knee is on the ground, if you can, lift it up. And then on our next inhale, our right foot is going to go back to meet our left into a plank. Exhale, lower the knees, and bring it all the way back into a child's pose. Just a short little break here in the middle before we move over to the other side. Check in, see how your body is feeling. Check in with your breath and with your heartbeat. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up to tabletop. And then, if it feels okay to you, tuck the toes. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale to your down dog. We're going to ground that right heel down and lift on an inhale to a three-legged dog with your left foot up. And then we're going to inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale up. And exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Now exhale, left elbow to left knee. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. And then if it feels okay here, and I didn't cue this on the last time, and I apologize, you can do this with your back knee dropped. You can do that same shape to the rock star, so your left leg through and across. Open the right hand up towards the sky. Into a rock star. Exhale, right hand down. Leg back up. And then we're going to drop that right leg. Shake the legs out for a minute, maybe dropping back into a quick child's pose if you need to. Or just holding for a few breaths in your down dog. Yogi's choice. We're going to inhale back up into that down dog. Take a nice big lion's breath here, maybe if that feels good. And then we're going to inhale, left leg up. And then if you want, start walking with hands back towards the foot and into that half splits position with the left leg lifted. I apologize if there's some background noise. I think my kids are out running around in the backyard. I promised them smoothies if they were quiet while I was filming, so we'll see how they do. And now on your next exhale, we're going to walk it back out into your three-legged dog. Take a nice deep inhale, and then exhale, left foot to the outside of your left hand. Feel free to lower that back knee if you want for our lizard. Or keep them lifted, and the same options on the other side are also available here. You can stay right here. Make sure you really feel that left hip coming back as the right hip is coming forward. Get that nice stretch all through the right hip flexor. Maybe lowering that knee, maybe coming down onto your forearms and relaxing your head. Maybe opening the left knee towards the left side of your mat. And wherever you find that feels appropriate in this position, this lizard today, try to find some stillness for a few breaths. And your next inhale, and very slowly come back up onto your hands. Lift the knee if it's lowered. Step that left foot back to a plank, and then on an exhale, we're gonna lower. So come forward onto the toes, looking forward. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. And we're gonna just let the arms relax and maybe pick one side of the head or the other, or using the hands as a little pillow for your forehead. Then we're gonna lift both feet, spinning at the knees. So just from the knees to feet are lifted. Just do a nice little windshield wiper from one side to the other. And then slowly releasing one foot and then the other back down to the earth. And then bringing your elbows right under your shoulders, forearms down to the ground, really pressing in through the forearms and the hands. Pressing in through the pubic bone, through your feet, through the tops of your feet, really engaging down into the ground with the lower half of your body. And with your hands, you do a nice little lift up through a sphinx pose. You should feel no pinching in your lower back here. And if you are feeling some pinching in your lower back, first, try really grounding down through your pelvis, through your legs, through the tops of your feet, and through your hands. And if you're still feeling a little bit of pinching in your back, maybe give yourself permission to lower down just a little bit until that stops. So we want to build strength in our lower back. We do not want to hurt our lower back. And just take a couple more breaths here. And your next exhale, lower back down. Maybe bringing the hands right underneath the elbows, tucking the toes, and on an inhale, either coming up to tabletop or up to plank, your choice. So inhaling up, engaging through the core, and then exhaling, lower the knees if they're not already, and walking the hands back towards the knees and the hips on top of the feet. Come into a nice seated position right here. We're going to bring the right hand to the outside of the left leg. And if sitting like this isn't comfortable, you can also do this cross-legged. I'm going to turn to face you guys. You can stay right where you are. Bring the right hand to the outside, really sitting up and finding some length. If you're cross-legged, maybe putting a pillow or a blanket or a block to give you some space to lift your hips up if that feels right. Then bring the left hand behind into this twist, really using the muscles, use the spine and the core to twist. Not using that hand, but using our core strength and our spine to twist around to maybe look over the left shoulder. Still finding lots of height. Maybe imagining on the inhales that your head is reaching up towards the sky. And on the exhales, we concentrate on the twist and maybe seeing if we can twist a little bit more, or maybe checking in with the edge of our twist where we may already be. On the next exhale, very gently with control, come back through center. Left hand to the outside of the right leg. Right arm comes behind. Make sure you find this nice height through the spine, crown of the head is reaching. And then once you find that height, then exhale into your twist towards the right. Maybe the gaze comes back and over the right shoulder. Making sure those inhales and exhales are deep and steady, even in this twist. With the space here feeling kind of narrowed as we twist our body. Can still keep those nice, lovely, beautiful inhales and exhales. They're deep and full. And on your next exhale, we're going to come back around to the front, bringing our feet to either side. Just like this, and then set back. Bring your feet to the ground in front of you, just like this, and either using your hands here on your shins or on the ground, or maybe if you want to just put your hands in front of you just like this. Engage that core, lifting up, belly button to spine and up, reaching the crown of the head up, finding lots of length in your spine, hugging in the lower ribs. And then on an exhale, we're going to begin to very slowly, with control, as slowly as you possibly can, one single vertebrae at a time, rolling down to the ground. And I think I'm way far off center of my mat, so I'm gonna have to scooch down a little bit. So come back to that rolling. Then when you get there, maybe moving your heels a little closer towards your bottom, maybe hands coming to the belly or down to the side. And that windshield wiper that we did on our bellies, doing it here again on our back. Should feel really nice in your hips and lower back. That side to side motion. Next time you come through center, pause. Inhale, bring the feet up. The shins are kind of parallel to the sky and the ground. And on an exhale, we're gonna bring our hands around our shins and hug the knees in, maybe even lifting the forehead up towards the knees. Really exhaling completely and squeezing it in. Inhale, releasing the head and then the feet. The soles of the feet to come together as your knees drop towards either side of your mat. And hands can be on your belly or maybe down at your sides. Just finding this nice opening through the hips here. External rotation of the hips. And just feeling the lower body relax and release. Letting go of any tension you're feeling in your legs, your muscles. Maybe as you release that tension, you feel some just little micro movements of your knees opening a little more and your thighs maybe coming a little closer to the ground. Maybe they don't move at all, but you feel that stretch engage even more. And then you put one hand on the outside of your right thigh, and then on the outside of your left thigh. On an inhale, we're going to bring soles of our feet back to the earth, knees back together. We're going to set up for our Shavasana, and maybe this right here is your Shavasana with your feet down on the ground. Maybe you want to open your feet as wide as the mat and let your knees fall in together. Maybe you want to begin adjusting over onto your side, or maybe one leg, my knee just popped, and then the other releases fully into this corpse pose, Shavasana, our final resting pose, whatever version of it you choose to take. Wherever you are, and take a nice big stretch up through our arms, maybe pointing the toes if you're in a position where that's accessible, just taking up as much space as you can and feeling tension really stretching and engaging through as many of your muscles as you can here on a deep inhale. And exhaling out through the mouth, lion's breath. And on your next inhale, letting go, bringing those hands back down either to your belly or down by your side, maybe tucking your shoulders a little closer together behind your back. I want you to imagine on your inhales that you keep your body as relaxed as it is right now. And then on every exhale, just letting go even more. So on the inhale, keeping everything soft. Just feeling your body relax more fully with each exhale. And then just letting your body rest and relax and let your breathing return to its natural rhythm. Feel free here, if you have the time, to go ahead and pause this video. Maybe put on some relaxing music and spend another 8 or 9, 10 minutes here if you have the time. But if you don't, go ahead and follow me up to a seated position to close our practice. So begin wiggling your fingers and your toes, maybe circling your wrists, moving the feet from side to side or circling the ankles. And then slowly making our way over to whichever side of the body you want. Bringing our knees in close to our body, using that bottom arm as a pillow. Your eyes can still be closed here if you want, or you can open them. And using that top hand and straightening that top leg, pressing into our top hand as we slowly rise up into whatever seated position is comfortable for you. I'm going to sit cross-legged. Feel free to put a block or a pillow or a blanket behind your hips, or maybe sitting with your feet to one side or in a chair. And just finding wherever your hands just want to naturally rest today. Maybe that's in your lap, maybe it's on the knees, palms up or down, or maybe even it's down here by your side. Finding some length in your spine, crown of the head reaching up. We're going to take 2 deep cycles of breath together. Inhaling in through the nose. And exhaling, sighing out through the mouth. And one more inhale. And sigh it out. Bring the palms together at heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. Thank you for joining me for this 3-part series. If you have any questions about anything we did today, anything you would like to see on this channel, please leave it down in the comments. Please let me know. I love having feedback. If you're enjoying these videos, please also consider subscribing to my channel so you can see when I release new videos. Thank you so much for choosing to spend this time with me today and for practicing with me. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.